And I'm pleased to be joined now by a native son, a local gentleman who went off and made his music career, and will be returning for a very special show in town in just a few weeks. So, first of all, welcome to the show, Brandon Soares, also known as Dino. Welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Oh, well, it's great to have you here. And I want to start with a little bit about yourself, growing up in Cornwall, leaving at 17, and then, of course, finding your way in the world of music and joining Reuben and The Dark. So, talk to us a little bit about that musical journey.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't an easy one, I can tell you that. In my younger years, like late teens, early 20s, it was definitely a struggle. But, anyways, I've been playing drums my whole life. I had a fantastic teacher locally named Jody Marcelette. He's pretty much the only drum teacher I know. If you're in Cornwall taking drum lessons, you're likely in at his place. But, anyways, yeah, I've been playing drums for almost 35 years now, and I went to St. Joe's, very much part of like the Brookdale kind of Meadowvale community there. Um, and didn't really like, I played a lot of music in high school, but we didn't have any bands that were, you know, it wasn't until I moved to Kingston here to come to college at 17, yeah, that I joined a band and we started to travel around Ontario and Quebec playing music. And then we kind of scrapped that band how it was packaged, and we built a new band, same group of people but under a different name. And that band we took all the way to, New York City record labels and traveling around North America playing music. Then eventually Kingston was too small for us for the opportunities that were happening. We wanted more, so we moved to Toronto. Um, and then while in Toronto, being a drummer, I had opportunity knocking on every door, So I was involved with dozens and dozens of bands up there. One of which was an electronic pop act named Lowell, um, and she was signed to the record label Arts and Crafts, and she kind of became more of like a songwriter in the later years. So she moved on and kind of put aside her band, which I was one of those members. But at the time, she had a relationship with the people at the record label. So they were at our shows, and I was kind of like, "Hey, man, if you have any other bands on the roster looking for a drummer, as you know, Lowell's moving on to bigger things, non-musical, but like writing, songwriting, and as opposed to performing." And that's when the president of the record label put me in touch with Reuben. I met him, not the band or anything, because we live all scattered in different provinces and stuff. Still to this day, I'm the only band member in Reuben the Dark that lives in Ontario. But yeah, we met up for like an audition, I guess you'd call it, and Reuben and I hit it off right away, and that was a little more than 9 years ago.
Wow. Quite,
Yeah.
quite the journey for sure. And so, for those that aren't familiar with the band, to be honest, I've only listened to the first couple of songs, and I've been really, amazed at your sound. It's, folk rock for those that don't, that aren't familiar with it. But you found this special camaraderie and partnership. You've become sort of a collective with another group from out west, the Bullhorn Singers. And I want to talk about that. So, take me to the Calgary Stampede 2019 and that moment where both of your groups, took the stage together for the first time and formed this dynamic partnership.
Yeah. So it was a very loose uh, coming together. It was never planned or anything like that. We happened to both be at the same spot at the same time. And I believe it was we were working with some dancers. We want to have these dancers come on and dance with us, who in part were familiar with the Bullhorn Singers. They all happened to be around, and while inviting the dancers to come up, it kind of word got around, and that the Bullhorn Singers were there. One in particular, Billy, and before the show, we just started playing some music. Reuben was strumming some guitar, and it just kind of naturally, like, they just started singing over it, and kind of like everyone in the room was kind of like, wow, like, something, this is cool, like they're a world renowned championship powwow group from the south of Alberta. They're Blood Tribe, Kainai, Alberta, Blackfoot Indigenous group. And Yeah, so like it just sparks flew, like kind of just in the backstage area, and then it all kind of went rolling from there. And then we started inviting them out to do other shows, and we started reworking our songs to accommodate them in little sections, like lengthening sections so that they could have their part incorporated in, to the kind of point now where we've actually written and recorded songs in conjunction with them, with the intention of having it kind of amalgamated both worlds.
It just sounds so natural. I can't imagine the track without that element to it. But you mentioned, of course, lengthening some songs to give them the opportunity in there. But maybe talk to me as a drummer as well. We know that Native music, Aboriginal music is very rhythmic. So talk to me about your drumming
Yes.
style and what adaptations you might have had to make in order to continue that synergy with them.
I get a lot of comments on this actually. Like we just finished a run from Vancouver Island to Winnipeg, and we're on like a 5-day halt right now before we head to California, etc. But anyways, I get a lot of comments on that. Yeah, I've had to kind of refine my style to accommodate their singing. Two very different worlds of music, like even down to the metronomical pulse of the way we understand music. It's like flip that upside down. There's just something so different, and you know, uh, it's impossible to describe. But basically, yeah, like we all had to rethink music when we're playing with the Bullhorn Singers. They have like this internal pulse that is just different. And going to the drum thing, as you said, like drums in indigenous culture, drums are kind of everything. Like like when it comes to music, and even their symbols in their culture, they go beyond just music. Basically, the drums, they're part of ceremony and all this stuff. So for me, um, Billy Wadsworth, the leader of the Bullhorn, the founder and stuff, he describes it as like, when we go on the stage with you guys and you're already an established indie rock band, they although they carry their drums with them at all times, they put them aside, and it's rare that they hit them while they're performing with us. But in doing that, I become their drummer, and that's really important to them. And which means that Billy and Troy and the other slew of guys that kind of come in and out of the picture at times, uh, I hold a certain place to them, which is like kind of deep. It's a deep place, and they've gifted me a headband, a headdress, a cultural symbol of theirs, and kind of invited me into their world, and that's a big honor for me. Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's incredible. And as you mentioned, certainly as much as there's the musical synergy and the meeting of two very different traditions, from a cultural perspective as well, as you mentioned, and you've been welcomed into that, as you just alluded to.
yeah,
And I know that both bands certainly do not want to have a political agenda, but at the same time, the topic of truth and reconciliation seems very inherent in what you guys are doing. So maybe talk to me about that, what you've learned from that, and why that's so important for the platform that both of you now have to share that message of truth and reconciliation, and how it's working in terms of your relationship with both groups and the collective.
yeah. So I mean, it's kind of started out with us like working with the Downey Wenjack Fund, which is something that the lead singer of the Tragically Hip kind of left behind as a legacy. So we were ambassadors for um, that foundation, and we traveled around, and we visit schools at times, and we speak to kids, and we play music with them, and we kind of just, once again, it's not having nothing to do with political. It's more like just gathering, sharing. It's a visiting, um, and we basically just let the music speak for itself, in the songs and in our relationships. Um, what we do with the Bullhorn isn't just strictly business. Like we are buddies. We share a van together. We go um, to their camps. They come to our house. We share meals and dinners and stories. We have done sweats. Um, it's very much a friendship, and we also kind of, just by being present in the schools and being present at the venues and just being kind and generous, and just kind of, we never have to say a word. We just do what we do, and people can see it happening. Like the music and our actions kind of speak for themselves, and that's the way we like to keep it, avoiding any sort of political stuff like that.
Oh, fantastic. And we know, as you mentioned, people will be able to hear it for themselves in Cornwall. But before we get to that, another place that we can hear it, and not too many people that I've met can say this, is that we can hear you in a Martin Scorsese movie trailer. So maybe talk to me about that honor and the group's excitement in being part of the trailer for Killer of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Basically, whenever when the whole collaboration was coming together, Billy and Reuben were they actually set out the intention to achieve something similar to that. Um, because there was an early cut of the movie before 2 years before it was released, and it got shelved and blah blah blah. But believe it or not, yeah, Reuben and Billy got a call from Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio themselves. They were sitting in the room, trying to piece the music to the movie and et cetera, which was a huge thing. And it goes to show you that if you set your mind to something, like, it can be achieved, you know. And it never ended up getting used in the movie, but it was used in the trailer for the movie. Um, so yeah, that's really cool, and the movie is fitting to this type of thing too. And yeah, we're really proud of that one for sure.
Absolutely. And just for you
We play that
personally,
song live too when we come.
oh, fantastic. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that. So just, yeah, talk to me about that personal. When you heard that for the first time, heard your drumming as part of a Scorsese movie trailer, what did that mean for you?
Uh, to be honest, it's happened several times now. Like, I mean, it's fantastic. Like, I love every minute of it. But in a way, we're getting used to it too, because like a lot of our songs, like before the Bullhorn thing, the Reuben the Dark, and both Reuben as a solo artist, we've landed some pretty big ones, like HBO commercials and Breaking Bad movie spots, like for our music specifically. Handmaid's Tale, like the list goes on of all these things that we've been part of in the LA kind of movie world. This is just another one of them, but we were very proud for it to have been a Reuben with the Bullhorn Singers kind of track, you know.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, very fitting with the theme of the movie, and of course the theme with the collective. And
Yeah.
certainly when we talk about that, it's you know, we don't always assume watching Breaking Bad or HBO or a Scorsese movie and, oh, there's a Cornwall connection there. And
Yeah.
so of course you'll be bringing those talents, all of you, to Cornwall. So talk to me about the show in June, what people can expect, and how it'll feel for you to be able to perform with this great collective in front of your hometown.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to see old friends and trying to rally people together. I think it's definitely a night to see, uh, a bringing of two worlds together, sharing culture, sharing music and ceremony. And yeah, for me, it's going to be very special because it's been almost 10 years since I performed in Cornwall in any capacity. Um, and certainly with this group, it's something that I'm really, really proud of. Not that I wasn't in the past, but I was younger, and this is a whole different level of entertainment, you know? Yeah, so we control the whole night. So there's no opening band or anything like that. We perform as Reuben in the Dark as an opening set. We take a small break. Reuben comes out and plays a few of his own songs because he's just released a solo album as well this year. And then we return with the Bullhorn for like the big finale. And you know, it's undecided or undetermined at the moment how many people will be exactly at this gig, but at times we're like 14 people on the stage. You know, we've got dancers, we've got like indigenous dancers in traditional regalia. Um, the bullhorn can be up to like 6 guys at times. So any combination of that you'll see in Cornwall, and we're really excited to share it with a town that's never seen us, or in a lot of cases never heard of us. You know, so
Uh,
um,
Absolutely, it'll be a great homecoming. You know, a chance to celebrate again that success that you guys have had, and again,
yeah,
it'll be very meaningful. You know, as someone who's born and raised in Cornwall, you know that Akwesasne is has always been a neighbor. That relationship with Truth and Reconciliation has been changing. So, what are you hoping, you know, to leave in addition to, of course, just great entertainment, enjoying that hometown feel? But what sort of message are you hoping to leave with residents about Truth and Reconciliation and just the possibilities of cultures getting together and finding this synergy?
Yeah, I hope that we can just kind of portray or exemplify the fact that it's super easy. All like it doesn't have to be complex. All that needs to happen is sharing and visiting, and you know, in any way form. Like I think people shy or can be, they think it's a complex thing, but at the end of the day, like it's just working collaboratively, whether the project is big or small or whether it's an artistic project or not. The biggest thing is just like connecting and sharing stories and sharing meals and culture, um, and you know, kind of just working together towards a brighter future and just having no barriers there when it comes to you know the connection between anyone or any like this just happens to be uh, a topic right now, but it far transcends that in terms of just it could be same the same could be said for anyone in any place. You know, it's just you come together, share experience, and visit. Be open to it.
Absolutely, and perhaps maybe I could suggest or ask music what the role that plays in that, because I think music can be a universal language, and perhaps it can help very much bridge those barriers.
Absolutely, yeah. So via music, we kind of can all just unite and enjoy and share. Once again, the keywords are share and visit. Um, yeah, we can all kind of come together, and like, as I'm sure for many people who have never been too connected or involved in an Indigenous community or capacity, there's a lot to be absorbed and a lot to be learned simply just in the rhythm and in the way they sing. And oftentimes Billy will, after a song, he'll explain the words that he was singing and what they mean and how they relate to the land and the earth and respect for all beings. And so, yeah, it's definitely a learning experience if you haven't been there before and done it. And there's a lot of positivity coming from what we're doing. And we've just witnessed it from Vancouver to Winnipeg. And now we're going to take it to California and Quebec and Ontario and various clubs and venues and schools and retreats and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, including, as we've alluded to, Cornwall. So we're just going to finish off with the details. What do people need to know if they want to attend the show?
Yep. So there's a ticket link flying around. I believe if you just, it's called Eventbrite, but maybe we can post it at the bottom of the screen. There's a ticket link, or you can just go to the Port Theater and grab tickets. I'm going to have a giveaway going on, hopefully with Reuben Brewing and Lost Villages Brewing. Um, June 6th, Friday. It's a Friday, which is a good land for those who may need babysitters or whatnot. Um, the Port Theater, 7 p.m., 2 acts, or 3 acts, really, all from the same camp. And yeah, tickets are like $30. They're affordable, and we're going to try and pack the place. So I believe that's all the information.
Absolutely. Well, it's a night not to be missed, certainly for those, for certainly music lovers, but also those interested in that sharing and that culture. But of course, just a night of great music and good time. So thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck. We look forward to seeing you here on June 6th at the Port Theater, and we wish you the best of luck till then.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cornwall. We hope to see you there. Rock on and talk to you soon.